Welcome to the Way Home, friends. This is Crossnore Communities for Children's Facebook Live show, as well as our podcast. And I'm delighted that you're here today. My name is Holly Kessler, and I'm the Senior Director of Community Relations at Crossnore. We are on Facebook Live every Tuesday afternoon and usually get to talk with some of our staff members or a community partner about the work that we do at Crossnore, about the child welfare system, other ways that we're engaging our community. And if you miss our live show, you can always rewatch on our Facebook feed or catch the show on our YouTube channel. And the podcast comes out on Fridays on our blog at crossnore.org. So there are plenty of ways to watch our show and engage with us each week. And I'm so excited that you guys are here today. My guest today is Courtney Branch. Courtney serves as the Miracle Grounds Farm Coordinator. She's been with us for a number of years. And today she's going to tell us what's going on in the garden, how we use the garden to work with our kids, and about a special event coming up in the next few weeks. So please join me in welcoming Courtney to the show. Hey, Courtney, how are you?
Holly, I'm great. Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, start out by, I know you because I've known you a long time. We won't tell anybody how long it's really been. but if you will, just introduce yourself to our listeners and tell them about your role at Crossnore and anything else that you want to share about your life.
Sure. As Holly mentioned, my name is Courtney Branch. I am the Miracle Grounds Farm Coordinator. I'm actually sitting up at the farm right now in our greenhouse. And I have been here a number of years, but the past 4 years, specifically, I have been helping to develop what is the Miracle Grounds Farm. Right now, I am sitting amidst our garden educational space, which is where we do a lot of outdoor work with our kids that we serve here at the Winston-Salem campus. We do everything from planting seeds in the greenhouse. I work with kids in our raised bed area, planting vegetables, harvesting vegetables. And in the summer, which is, we started this last year, we started a farm stand. We'll be having a farm stand again this year. And so a lot of the vegetables that we will be growing will be at our farm stand for free to the public and specifically to our kids and to our cottages.
That is awesome, Courtney. And I love that background. I love to go into the greenhouse. It filters the light so nicely. So I love that background a lot. So you mentioned food forest, and we do typically call the farm the Miracle Grounds Farm and Food Forest. So tell us more about exactly what that is.
Sure. So we started this garden farm food forest with the idea of it being a food forest is a garden that supports ecosystems. It's using the methods of permaculture, which is permanent agriculture, and we plant plants that are supporting each other. The garden has evolved into kind of a more manicured space, so have the skills and permaculture methods in it. So it is more than just a food forest, I would say. But
yeah. And it's a beautiful place just to even go and sit and relax. It's nice to walk up to the farm during the day and to see all of the beauty that you guys have provided. I think you've had a lot of help from some of the local garden clubs too. Is that correct?
Correct. Yes. The Twin City Garden Club helped us fund the garden back in 2019. A grant, and then from there we won a national grant, which helped us to expand our space. We also have a lot of involvement and interest from other local garden clubs, and I usually work with them through volunteer work days and other events.
Yeah. And we'll talk about volunteers here in just a few minutes, but let's start with talking about some of the activities that you do with the kids that live on campus here. I've been amazed at some of the things that you have done. I know that our spiritual life and recreation coordinator, Megan, has helped you with some things too. So tell us about some of those activities and what the kids have learned or what that's meant to them.
Sure. Well, yesterday we did a chef event where the kids learned about different foods and cooked with those foods in their cottage with the help of the cooking matters course through the food bank.
Okay.
And so we have worked a lot with the food bank and their Cooking Matters course. So we'll involve the kids with what they're growing up here and then bring it to their kitchen and have them learn about the vegetables and the ingredients to make something. I have hosted art events up here with the kids. We've done a lot of painting. We've done a lot of crafts, birdhouse making. We will be doing some exciting things this summer, from arts to sculpture to um, just educational things around composting, water, and vegetables. So
Wow, that sounds like a lot of really hands-on educational kinds of experiences. One of the things you told me, I think you did a couple of years ago, was about the t-shirt dyeing. Talk about that. I
yeah,
thought that was really cool.
yeah. So we had um, we planted indigo out here. We kind of did the full circle, the full
Mhm,
process. And we harvest the indigo. We had a natural dye teacher come out and show the kids how to process the indigo from the plants. And then from there, we had them dye T-shirts and little flags, and
mhm.
they love that. So,
That is awesome. I don't know that I even knew indigo grew on a plant. Like, I don't know what that even looks like.
oh, a lot of them didn't.
That's amazing. That is amazing. Why do you feel like that the garden here at Crossnore is a really important part of our trauma resilient community? What does it mean to be in nature? You know, how does that play into the trauma resilience we're trying to help everybody build?
Yes. Ooh, there's so much to say on that. There's so much research that's coming out around
Mhm,
being in nature and how
mhm,
the nervous system and how that just is so beneficial for us as human beings. So one way that the garden has specifically impacted our kids, last year we had Joanne Yates, who is a horticultural therapist, come up to our garden and train our therapists on ways in which they can work with their clients in our space through different activities, which were mainly sensory, meditative activities.
mhm,
Um, and it sounded like our therapist got a lot of benefit out of that. And I do see a lot of engagement with our therapists and our kids in the garden almost
mhm,
daily. Um, and then we are also engaging a lot with our um, foster families and our kids that are living in our foster homes up here.
mhm,
Um, they are out here pretty regularly, and I've tried to get their families involved as well.
mhm, mhm. And so you mentioned even the raised beds. So talk about the raised beds and what the kids grow, because I think part of that whole nature, you know, being in nature, getting your hands dirty, helping to build that resilience has to do with what the kids are doing. Like I said, like actually getting their hands dirty. So I know you have a lot of raised beds around the greenhouse. How are you using those? Do the cottages come up and plant? And tell us about those.
Sure. Yes. So yes, there's science that backs how just touching soil can affect our mental health. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so kids are constantly putting their hands in the soil up here when they come, and each cottage has a designated raised bed, both up here, and then they have a raised bed in their cottage courtyard that
Okay.
plants every year. And so um, yes, there's so much benefit, as I mentioned, just being outdoors, putting your hands in the soil. So that's really what we're trying to encourage, as well as like just the learning of where your food comes from and
Mm-hmm.
care of plants, just that educational aspect that will really hopefully ripple out into their education and their life skills as they grow.
Mhm, mhm, mhm. Yeah, I think that's an important point that you mentioned too about just even learning where food comes from because it doesn't come from the grocery store, right? So for kids to learn that and see that from the beginning, from planting a seed, like you said, in the greenhouse, to planting in the raised beds and then watching it grow and harvesting it. That's an amazing sort of life cycle for them to see, and especially to participate in. I've heard a lot of people say that when kids participate in growing those vegetables, a lot of times they'll eat it when they would not have before.
Mm. Hmm.
So they, if it's theirs, they might have said to you, I don't like a carrot when you tried to feed it to them. But once they grew it, they enjoyed, tasting it and tended to like it a lot better. So,
Yeah, and I can say that from experience up here and observing them. I get them to taste a lot of vegetables that they have never tasted before, just because they're part of pulling it out of the ground
right.
or going through and identifying things in the garden, and just engaging their curiosity in that way.
Yeah, that's awesome. That is really awesome. So early on, you mentioned that we have a lot of volunteers, both through garden clubs, but also through other groups or even just individuals or families that come out. Are there specific types of volunteers that you have at the garden? And tell us more about opportunities that you have coming up. Because I think I'm not really a gardener, but I think now is the time things ramp up in the garden, right? As spring is coming on.
Yep. Yes, definitely. So anybody can volunteer. I have a volunteer newsletter, and you can find all this information on the Crossnore website.
Hmm.
Um, but I typically engage with college students, med students, garden club groups,
Hmm.
and then just interested people from the public who want to get involved in gardening,
Hmm.
learn a little bit more about gardening. Um, so if you are curious, you can, again, go to the Crossnore website, that's farm page, and enter your information to be on our newsletter that way. You can also contact me through farm@crossnore.org.
Okay, that's great. And you have just general kind of opportunities to plant and to weed and to practice your own gardening skills.
Mhm.
Are there ever opportunities to work with any of the kids that come up?
Um, Typically, we have different times for the kids to come up,
Okay.
volunteers to come up, and if there is sometimes overlap up here in the garden, but I mean, you're helping with gardening tasks, whether that be mulching, whether that be planting,
Hmm.
whether that be harvesting, which is what I'll have some of the kids do if they come up
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. Good. Good. Well, we have an exciting event coming up in a couple of weeks. This is our fourth plant sale. I've lost count.
I know I lost count too. I think it's the third.
Yeah, I think it's the third annual plant sale. Tell us about when that is, dates and times, what kinds of things you'll sell. What do we need to know about the? I think this year we're calling it the Grab and Grow plant sale.
Yeah. Um, so this year we have moved it back a week to May 5th and May 6th. That's a Friday and a Saturday.
Hmm.
Friday hours will be from 9 to 12 and from 3 to 5. And then Saturday it will be from 10 to 2. Again, you can email me if you have questions about that. We will be planting, or we will be selling a variety of native plants. Really excited about that, since I'm kind of passionate about kind of bringing native plants into gardens and into yards. We will also be selling a variety of tomatoes and peppers and vegetables, sugar snaps. I have all kinds of things growing in the greenhouse, if you can see my screen.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, expect native plants and expect some vegetables.
Okay, that'll be great. And so we've got the dates and times there. There's information on our website as well about that. And you have the ability to take all forms of payment: cash, checks, credit cards.
We're going to try to have a system set up so it will be credit card only.
Credit card only. Great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. Well, remember that plant sale on May 5th and 6th. We'll be excited to have you guys out on our garden and getting your plants and vegetables for you to plant in your garden this year. Courtney, when will the when do you think you'll start harvesting the vegetables that the kids will have in the little farm stand this summer?
hmm we the kids don't get out of school until the beginning of June.
Yeah.
This is a project that really is for them. We're
Right.
not selling stuff until probably the first or second week of June as well.
Okay, good, good. All right. Well, is there anything else that we need to know about the Miracle Grounds Farm? It's amazing the amount of work that you guys do up there.
Yeah, I think that you should just come up and experience it. And
Absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely.
beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. And even if you don't garden, even just to come up to campus, our campus is open from dawn to dusk. And so even just a stroll around the farm in the evening is a great way to unwind and just experience this nature that we have here so close to downtown Winston. And so spending some time in the garden, even if you're not digging or weeding or any of that is a great thing to do. So thank you so much, Courtney, for being here and for telling us all about Miracle Grounds Farm and Food Forest and about the plant sale.
Yep. Thank you, Holly.
Absolutely. Friends, as I have thanked Courtney for being with us today, let me also say thanks to each of you who are watching or listening. We so appreciate the opportunity to tell you about Crossnore. For more information, please visit our website at crossnore.org, or you can also follow us on our social media channels on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. That's it for today, but I hope you'll join us right here next week on the way home.